Hey, how's it going, guys? Dr. Drew here. Uh, anyways, um, this is the Capstone dungeon on hardcore. I was able to complete it. So figured I'd make a video that I guess hardcore peeps can look at, or like people who are druids, I guess, to see how geared maybe you need to be to not die. Or maybe you can use this build as well to clear the dungeon. But anyways, it's pretty basic. I think it's trample slide is what it's called. I never really looked at the like the full build. I just knew like the I guess the outline of it. You just use the true trample passives or aspects. Um, the one that makes your landslide come up when you trample, and then the other landslide aspect that makes it trigger a second time. It's very good. But anyways, so I guess the build I'm using two defensives. I'm not sure. I assume that's what other people do as well. I don't think you'd want to be using Hurricane. Seems like it'd probably be bad. Um, but using Earth and Bulwark, obviously, need Unstoppable if you're gonna try and do anything in hardcore. Um, with the Fortify, and then also using Cyclone Armor with uh, the Vulnerable modifier that makes them vulnerable when you knock them back with your Cyclone Armor. It's very good. Definitely would recommend using that in this dungeon. What I like to do is, I think the combo I like to do with this is to just walk up to them and Cyclone Armor, and then bump them away, and then you just trampling after them, and then pop your Earth and Bulwark, and then use Vine Creeper. Then that's my last ability that I'm using that I think might be you might be able to change. Obviously, if you were using this later game, you would probably take that off once you got Constricting Tendrils or something. But at first I was trying to use like Lightning Storm and Petrify, and then I was like, okay, that's not gonna work, and so I swapped out to Vine Creeper, and it is very good. You just take the Spirit Boon that can reset your. It's like a 20% chance on crit to reset your companion skills, and it's up most of the time. It basically acts like your Nature's Fury, uh, or the symbiotic aspect. Uh, and I guess maybe I forgot to mention that's also part of the build, mandatory part of the build. You need that to be able to do this. Um, you might be able to still use trample like with the pulverized build, but I don't really like that build that much, if I'm being honest, with the aftershock. I don't think it's as good as people think it is. At least it feels clunky when I'm playing it. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. It's definitely not something I would play it. I would play it like mid game and then and switch over. I actually did my second character that died. This is actually my third character. First one was a trample slide like this one, and I got like DC'd or something, or I desynced, and my character was just moving around and it wasn't taking any actions. And then I logged off and I logged back in, and my character wasn't there anymore, which definitely sucked. Definitely a waste of whatever 12 hours or so. But yeah, and then the second one was it was like a pulverized with aftershock one, and that was just me being a dumbass and somehow getting caught with my pants down with no unstoppable to get out of anything, which was kind of ridiculous. But anyways, third one, so third time's a charm with the trample slide one again. I would definitely recommend going this. It seems like it's definitely the safer option of the two, with the double defensives basically always up, and then I'll post a link of the build, with the skill tree and everything. But I have I don't know the nodes that when you use a defensive, it gives you damage reduction for like 6 seconds or something. can't remember what it's called. It's like 15%. It's very good with this Nature's Fury symbiotic aspect trample slide build. Basically always up. I think there's a couple moments in this video where I have like all my cooldowns are off, and obviously at that point you need to play super safe because you can definitely get popped if you're not minding your P's and Q's, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so what else is important about this build? Maybe go over some of the defensives I went with. I think those are kind of mandatory for this. You're definitely gonna want to have Mending Stone, since that's gonna extend your bulwark and allow you to refresh it basically. Keep it up for the full 9 seconds, and then that way you can have Unstoppable as well. Having some form of Unstoppable is definitely super important when you're playing in hardcore, I would say. Seems like tons of mobs have CC, and if you're just sitting there, if you don't have Unstoppable, you definitely need to use the gems that reduce your damage taken when you're crowd controlled, because otherwise you're gonna die. You're definitely gonna die. Oh, refreshing my Death Defiance elixir. Definitely want to have that up as well, probably when you're going in here. If you don't, I think those crushed bones are kind of hard to find, so I would definitely say using that here is a good idea. And then the other elixir I have is like the Manslaying one. I think most of the mobs in here are, at least the mobs you want to kill are the knights, and I think that's who it works on, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I did go in here before I recorded this and like made it halfway through to see if it was even doable for me, and it seemed like I wasn't really taking too much damage. I don't think I ever dropped below half health when I was in here, and basically breezed through pretty easily. Yeah, I made it up to these guys and killed them. The second time around, I think I was focusing like the little guys at first, and then they were like getting revived back. I'm not sure if it was just the sorcerer guy or the range guy who can just revive people. I'm not entirely sure. I came into this blind. I didn't really watch any how-to guides at all. I haven't watched any. I didn't watch any for Lilith, and nothing when I was playing the campaign at all. Obviously just making sure I have whatever that escape portal keybound, and then but other than that, and then like having a Death Defiance up whenever I'm fighting something big. I think that's kind of a safe plan to have when you're doing these type of things in hardcore. Yeah, so basically murdered those guys pretty easily. I may have been able to do this like at level 45 or so. I think once you have whatever the disobedience up and going, you kind of negate that that 5 level discrepancy pretty well. And this build definitely has the damage to kill anything in here, since your cooldowns are, if it's going well, all your skills are basically off cooldown the entire time. Yes, another underrated thing I have the 2 of 8 charges. I think that's probably my preferred thing. I think all throughout the beta, and then even when I've been playing the past couple days, I found that the 2 of 8 charges seem to be the best. Otherwise, maybe the one that when you attack and it reduces the cooldown, that could be good as well too. But it seems like 2 of 8 charges on your boots is very good. What else? I think I talked about the Vine Creeper. I did try out to have one of the ultimates in there, and it did not work at all for me. tried Petrify and then tried Lightning Storm. It is kind of cool when you do cast Petrify and then your Lightning Storm triggers off. It's definitely a awesome moment, but it's definitely not the safe play. A safe play is definitely Vine Creeper, and then you do have the poison damage as well, so you can take those skills inside of inside the tree that multiply crit damage, which is super good. And obviously, like, you'll swap that out for constricting tendrils or something if you do get there. I don't think this is the build I would play late game. I had a different build planned, either like a werewolf or a stormwolf druid or an earth druid. I was probably just gonna use this to get me to that point though. This seems pretty good. I think the only issue is that you're basically melee, and then from watching some of the higher nightmare dungeons, you really don't want to be close to anything when you're doing that. And then your whole form of being unstoppable is very very hinged on you having Earth and Bulwark the entire 9 seconds, and it not being on cooldown for some reason. But it seemed like mobs hit like a truck once you get to the higher level of nightmare dungeons, so definitely like a whatever mid to late game build here. Some tips though that I found for this is after the first Druid died, I was trying to come back to this build, and I think I was rolling on boots to try and get the symbiotic aspect again, and I think you have to be level 35, which I think is when the keystones open up normally if you don't have any extra skill points. And I think that's the point when those can start to drop from the gambler. Obviously rolling on boots the most efficiently. Cause I was trying to do that like at whatever, once I had the keystone passive unlocked, but I had the extra skill points. And I didn't start to see it until 35, like 35-40 was when the first one dropped for me again. But yeah, definitely roll on boots and wait until or save up your obols until you're 35. I do have that imprinted onto my amulet, so I get that 50% bonus. You maybe could put it on your like a two-handed weapon as well if you wanted to like be super sure. But you guys will see my weapon is pretty good, or it has like a really good roll on whatever the storm and earth whatever legendary aspect. I don't remember the name, but it's where when you use the storm skill, it modifies your earth skills, and with your earth skill, it modifies your storm skills. But I got a max roll on it, so I just figured I would use it. I didn't want to take it off and imprint it on anything else either, because I was gonna save it for later game. Or at least once I got like a sacred item or something, you could put it on that. So now we're at the final boss. This guy did seem like he does hit kind of hard. Definitely want to avoid those ghosty things that he sends out. Those seem like they were doing the most damage to me. But yeah, just basically spamming my skills off cooldown and trying to dodge as much as I could. But yeah, basically this is the kill. I guess one other thing, I probably would have taken some points off and moved him around to where, because I just have 1 point in Vine Creeper right now, so it's basically worthless versus this fight. I probably would have wanted to put 2 more points in to get the modifier where I get some critical strike when an enemy's affected by your Vine Creeper or whatever, or after you use it. But it didn't really matter. I guess trying to stall for some time. I still have a while to kill this guy yet. I guess gear-wise, definitely try to get as much defense on your helm and chest and pants. I think chest and pants are the most important because those can roll like the good damage reduction modifiers, like damage versus close, damage versus ranged. Also, you want to have damage reduction while fortified. That's good as well too. Max life. Those go well with this build. Gems, I put the blue ones in my armor, and then I put the green ones in my weapon, and then skulls in the jewelry. I think that's pretty basic. I know I just set a bunch of colors, but that might not make a ton of sense, but weapon has the vulnerable damage, armor has the fortified reduction, and then jewelry has the extra armor. But I think that's pretty standard. But yeah, here we go. Got the kill. Very nice. Cathedral conquered. Okay. Yeah. And so here I'm just showing the challenge is complete. Kind of wanted to say hardcore, but it's whatever. Going over my gear. As you'll see, you can stop if you need to. It's definitely not the best. Some good rolls on some stuff, but other than that, it's just I made sure I upgraded everything and had like the max gems and everything. But other than that, it was fairly easy. Like I said, don't think I dropped below half health at all. Here's a skill tree, kind of walking through it. Double defensives, the poison creeper thing I was talking about. Would have wanted the 2 points there. And also maybe I would have wanted 2 points in the end venom one to deal more damage. I am missing 3 skill points right now, so that's probably where those other ones would have gone. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found that helpful, and yeah, see you later.